Hello everyone, I am Manar Rohmi and today I'm going to present you Shakespeare representation of woman. Let's start with one of the most important quotes of Shakespeare. All the words a stage and all the men and women merely players. They have their exists and their entrances, and one man in his time plays many parts. Let's start. Women's role in Shakespeare plays. Women appeared as supporting and central characters in dramatic and poetic works. In Shakespeare's era, England was a highly patriarchal society. In this light, so women are regarded physically and emotionally weaker than men. Also, they are bound to subject to their male counterparts as wives and daughters. At the time of Shakespeare's play, women were considered to be property for men. Custom, uh, Customs were expected of them not have been educated, so women relied on the men. Furthermore, Shakespeare emphasized the sexist views on woman existence at the period when Hamlet exclaimed, "Frailty, thy name is woman." Ironically, he described his mother. Although society criticizes women for their frail physical and intelligence, it also expects them to adapt such stereotypes. Shakespeare appears to be criticizing this traditional image of women by creating powerful female characters. They went against the social norm and resisted their male protectors at some time in their stories. Just a minute. Shakespeare's portrayal of women in his plays reflects his thoughts of women and their roles in society. Looking at the different types of female roles in Shakespeare indicates that women in Shakespeare's period had less freedom than males. So it's well known that were not allowed on the stage during Shakespeare's time. So when he wants to a female characters on the stage, it's played by a man like Desdemona and Juliet. There are several types of female characters in Shakespeare's play, so they have an impact on other characters, although they are frequently underestimated. They are there for a reason, whether to change the plot or to stabilize it. Some women are more powerful than others, and their impact on the play varies according to the events of the play. Most famous female characters of Shakespeare: Cordelia in King Lear, Portia in The Merchant of Venice, Lady Macbeth in Macbeth, Juliet in Romeo and Juliet, Desdemona in Othello, Ophelia in Hamlet, Rosalind and As You Like It, Viola in Twelfth Night, Hermia in A Midsummer Night's Dream, Margaret of Anjou in four of the Shakespeare's history plays. Also, we have Jessica from Merchant of Venice, Gertrude from Hamlet. Let's start with Portia as one of the most important female characters in Shakespeare's play. Shakespeare empowered this character in the Merchant of Venice play. She pretended to be a lawyer to save her husband's a friend who called Antonio from the violence moneylender Shylock. She shows extraordinary qualities and delivering her judgment. Her power lies in her wisdom, which recognized by all people in the court who don't know that she is a woman. In a real sense, she exercises power over everyone present there. Lady Macbeth. Actually, Macbeth is one of the most dangerous and powerful women. In the first part of the play, she obviously exercises power power over her husband, and she insists on him to kill Donson. She uses her sexuality and insults him, mocks his lack of bravery. She comes in more aggressively as he wavers, and soon he goes ahead with it. She appears to be a powerful lady, but mentally she is not strong enough to deal with her guilt. Desdemona. Although Desdemona submits passively to her husband Othello as he strangles her to death, she demonstrates her strength at the beginning of the play when her father asks the Duke of Venice to stop her marriage to the Moor Othello. But she refused. The Duke asks her to give an account of herself, and in a remarkable speech, she convinces him. In that speech, she comes across a modern woman. She became a modern, independent woman who has been a good daughter but is now ready to ally herself with her husband. This speech required enormous courage to say things like that in a room full of powerful men at that time. Juliet. Juliet would not be considered a lady in our time, but at the age of 14, she is already a commodity to her father. He wanted to marry her with a prince, but she refused because she loves Romeo. She is obsessed with marrying Romeo, who is not only her father's choice, but also forbidden fruit because their families are entangled in an old rivalry, and all contact between them is restricted. She refuses to marry the court of Paris without informing her father why. This is amazingly brave for the time and her father, couples who simply don't know and don't understand why she refused the marriage. He swears at her, threatens her, and even hits her. She refuses to give up, and desperate for a way out without abandoning Romeo, she seeks the help of Friar Lawrence. Ophelia. Ophelia is a significant thread in this play's complicated tapestry. She is a young lady surrounded by strong men, such as her father and her brother. She would find it difficult in any circumstances to face them, even if they had ignored her. But they don't ignore her. She is a daughter, sister, lover, and member of the entourage of the royal court. She loves Hamlet. Hamlet was in love with her, but her father and her brother don't allow her to love him back because they hate him. She doesn't have a voice in the play, and when she had a chance to speak, all she said is, "I will obey you, my father. I don't know. What shall I do?" In each of those positions, she is either exploited or abused, or both, and as a result of the constant pressures, she feels victim of mental illness. She becomes a mad. She loses her senses and comes in court talking and behaving strangely. The viewer learns the next thing about her is that she drowned herself, like we see in the picture. Gertrude Hamlet, the king's wife, she is portrayed as a terrible stereotype of a woman. Within days of her half's death, uh, better half's death means her husband, death. She marries Claudius, King Hamlet's brother. It is her influence that has prompted Prince Hamlet to attempt suicide. She repented like Nayub during her better half's burial ceremony, but she marries within days. She is portrayed as a sneaky and untrustworthy female figure. She abandons the memories of her beloved husband and marries Claudius with a disgusting rush and haste, violating social and religious norms and sins. Shocked by her action, her kid Prince Hamlet expresses his displeasure with her mother, like what he said, "Frailty, thy name is woman." Jessica. Jessica is one of the characters of Merchant of Venice. She reveals her intelligence and independence when she escapes her father's house by disguising herself in a male clothing and taking money and other valuable with her. She ran away with her lover Lorenzo, leaving her father's house and his money and stealing stealing her and stealing his money. She pretended to be a man while she's escaping from her father's house. Jessica is aware that she is violating the traditional expectation of showing loyalty to her father, but she ultimately chooses Lorenzo in hopes of becoming a loving wife. At the end, the play suggests that Jessica makes the right decision when she left her father stealing his money, as she enjoys a happy marriage and is rewarded with an income and inheritance that Antonio secured for her after Shylock lost the court case. Jessica is harsh toward her own father, robbing him, escaping his household, and even trading his precious ring for a monkey. She steals her mother's precious ring, which is the only memory of her father. While Shylock is not blameless, and that shows how powerful she is and how she doesn't care for anyone, even her father. The conclusion: Shakespeare was able to show the different faces of women during his time. His female characters are not the insipid and uneducated types common in a patriarchal society, but instead are interesting, witty, and intelligent. It's not therefore surprising that Shakespeare plays are revered up to this moment. Remarkable, indeed, that amidst a society where women are not supposed to speak and be heard, but Shakespeare gave them voice. That's all. Hopefully that you understand. Thanks for your watching.